We've all heard about dressing for success in the workplace, but when it comes to dressing for success on stage for a theatrical production, some different rules apply. In this segment of Frame, we are learning about the role of costume design to create a successful theatrical production. Joining me is our expert, the William R. and Winifred Shuttleworth Professor of Theater Arts, Susan Wolverton from Coe College. Susan, thank you for joining me on Frame.
Thanks, Yvette.
I appreciate your being here.
Thank you.
You've provided us a variety of materials to review today as we learn about concept to completion when it comes to costume design, which we're really grateful for, and some really fun fashions. Why don't we delve into step one?
And what we learn in theater, whether we're studying acting or design or directing, is the script comes first. So the script in some ways gives us some really nice parameters, and that's a place to start.
So it defines everything that everyone involved in the process does, so it's
Exactly.
cohesive.
Correct.
I've done that, so next we'll make a ton of assumptions.
All right, you've read the script, and I also, in costume design, we also analyze the script from the point of view of the character. So a little bit like an actor would delve into their own character and go a little deeper. What does this character want? How are they going to get it? And do they go through any change from beginning to end? Is it a primary character or a secondary character? So what is the purpose of that role? So if you're designing, though, the whole picture, if you're telling that whole story, essentially visually, is what the designer does, then you're going to have to analyze and pick out for the audience, and from your point of view, in conjunction with the director's point of view, how do we tell that story? How do we get into the heads of those those characters and make them come alive from the page to the stage? There's a lot of homework that has to happen first.
Okay,
and it's good, it's fun.
It's fun homework.
It's fun homework.
Well, if I had to read fashion books and magazines all day, it's fun, but I know it's far more involved in that.
Right.
So describe some of the homework that people have.
So after we analyze the script, now the real fun comes. We get to kind of get inspired by the research. And that research, if I'm doing a period play, that might be very specific. The play is set in 1874, Great Britain, music hall, okay? That defines my parameters. Or it might be, it's a very open-ended piece. It's a piece that maybe it's set in present time, maybe it's set in the future, maybe it's out of your own imagination. And you let those ideas incubate. And all the time you're doing sketches, you're kind of taking notes. You're letting everything kind of absorb in, and then you're going to start responding with drawings. Maybe you go to the fabric store and you just start saying, you know, I've done my research, I see the colors, and now I'm seeing, here's my raw material. As a costume designer is the fabric. And I'm getting excited by this, and this kind of says to me, music hall, 1870s, you know, what we've talked about in the production meeting. Let me bring it back and see what they think about this.
How many people are usually involved?
The director will be there. Stage manager, very important role, because stage manager keeps everyone communicating, keeps everybody on the same page, kind of driving the
bus, right?
Yep. Stage manager, director, other designers, lighting designer is there, set designer is there.
Sure.
If we can get our prop designer there, that's great. We might even have a couple assistant stage managers, depending on their schedule. So there are at least 6 or 7 people in the room. We're really all working together to create and to cohesively, as you mentioned, for the audience, kind of create that world. And that's the fun part, creating the world that we're going to share with the audience. It's great.
Getting back to research, you have some books here. Are these books something you check out from the library, part of your class curriculum for materials? How do students approach that, and how do you help them open the door so they have as much research as possible?
Well, of course, the internet's become a wonderful place. Yes. So many of them now will go, you know, I've been teaching for, 25 plus years, so we didn't always have that source. Now it's difficult for me to get them away from the internet because it's not the only place.
True.
And I still like to go, to some really fabulous books that are put out by museums that have collections of costume. And so I try to encourage them. We have a pretty good collection in our own library. I have a enormous collection in my office. Sure. It's a variety of places. And then if it's modern dress, well, you know, then they might be going out to the stores, or they're looking at fashion magazines, or they're, you know, pulling from their own experience. So it really depends on the project. I try to make them aware of the variety of sources that are out there for them. Maybe it's an artist. Maybe the director has said, you know, I'm very inspired by this particular artist, and I want you to go look at this artist. And it's not that I want to mimic what's there on the page. I want you to, I love the colors, and I love the mood of that, and I want you to figure out how do we get that somehow on stage.
Extract the essence and apply it to the production.
So some's very specific, like silhouette, fabric of the period, if that's what you're going for. And other times it's, again, more inspirational in terms of the research that goes on. Here again is more specific. And I talk to them about the importance of primary research materials. Find the garment, if you can, from the period. These are all period garments on mannequins, so we can see what they look like, the fabrics of the time. Then you take from that and make it your own, so there's liberty that you can take, but at least you start from the source.
When it comes to retaining the authenticity of something from a period piece, for instance, do you have a library of fabrics and patterns that you can pull from?
I do have patterns, and we do have a lot of fabrics that we've saved. I mean, if over the years we've got lots of collections of fabrics kind of tucked away that we can pull out, and we also then go down to our own dungeon where we've got pieces we've done before, and we might scavenge. We might, you know, I've done this, borrowed for myself many times. Let's say we've gone to our production meeting, we've got our sketches approved, director likes the look, and we've all decided on a color palette. So I've gone ahead and made the commitment to purchase the fabrics. Now we've got to start working with the kind of nuts and bolts. Okay, so actors, we need to get you in and get your measurements. And then it's a matter of you really start to organize yourself.
We've talked about everything but the finishing touches every woman goes through, the hair and the makeup routine. You do that for the characters, and you brought some beautiful wigs for us to try on. Yes. So do you want to explain this process?
Certainly. So that depends on the play. The purple wig I used actually in a play that was set in the 17th century, so a lot of the men actually were wearing the wigs. In fact, in that production, all the men had wigs. And this particular character was one who thought a great deal of himself. He was a poet, he was a show-off, and so we set him off with the lavender wig. And it just helped the actor, but it really helped the character portrayal as well. So did you want to try it on?
Sure, why not? You know, go ahead.
So
and then how does this...
So if you will put your fingers at the front.
Right here?
It's like, yep, it's like a bathing cap. Oh, God. Oh, you bet.
I'm sure this is going to be one of my best looks.
There you go.
I guarantee you. Woo!
We gotta
and the lilac, is that color chosen for the royalty aspect of the color purple? Since he was such a royal
I put him in white. It just was something to make him really kind of, he's made fun of by everyone else, but he doesn't realize this. He thinks he's very fashionable, wonderful.
Fashion forward. Oh yes, we've all, I think, met someone like that in our world.
Right.
They make life fun and colorful, right?
Right.
So what do y'all think? I'm sure,
it's lovely with the black.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to go. Can I borrow this for the rest of the day?
The wig and the makeup in dress rehearsals, those again, you know, I mentioned about dress rehearsal, we get the costume, but then when we get the wig and the makeup, then we're really
we're all in. We're in full character. You know, I really want to try this one too.
And these are not human hair wigs. So
Tom is thinking, no, not in this. I don't know. Does it really fit the personality? Not happening. I'm getting a big no off camera, people. Susan?
I don't know. The lavender. And that's what this is, like the ingenue
You know, there are these websites you can go on and upload your photograph and then try on new hairstyles.
I didn't know that.
Colors and styles. I think in real life this is better, far more fun. Do the students ever play this way?
Oh yes, definitely,
doing their thing?
definitely.
Getting in character to dress the character?
Definitely.
Oh my goodness. Well, what do you think?
Fun.
This is a little better response off camera than the red. I don't know. Oh, Susan, thank you so much
You're
for being
welcome.
such a great guest.
I'm glad you had a lot of fun in the process.
Having a great time.
Good.
And I really appreciate you helping us to understand what it takes to dress for success on the stage.
All right.
All
Thanks
right.
a lot.
Thanks for tuning into Frame.
You're welcome.
Frame is sponsored by Allegra, Click Marketing Solutions, Style Folio Jewelry,